All right, old school NBA fans, self-research NBA facts. I got another video for you. Thanks to anybody who watches my videos, subscribes to my channel. I really appreciate it. This is part 4 of my Hall of Fame series that I've been doing. 1980s. So finally, I get to talk about players that I personally got to watch in their primes. Finally, so I got a lot more, a lot more knowledge, firsthand knowledge, eyeball test, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not just relying on research. This is how I really feel by watching these guys. All right, I'll get right into it. I think I got 28 players, I think is what the number was, to choose from here. I added a couple in that I thought were borderline close players, and we'll take a look at them. I didn't bother writing down all the accolades and all that stuff. It just seemed like it took so long. It was counterproductive. I do have it. I just didn't whiteboard it. Just more the players. And I did write how many championships they won. That'd obviously be about the most important thing. So anyway, the first player is Larry Bird. Now, Larry Bird won 3 championships. He was 9-time first-team All-NBA. He got 1 second team. He was 3-time All-Defense second team, a 12-time All-Star. He won 3 MVPs, 2 Finals MVPs, and 4 free throw titles. So obviously, without a doubt, Larry Bird, I think I have him as my number 6 player all time. So no question, Larry Bird, Hall of Fame. Just no doubt about it. Okay, Dominique Wilkins. Dominique Wilkins played for 15 seasons from 83 to 99. He never won a championship. He has 1 first-team All-NBA, 4 second-team, and 2 third-team. A large part due to the fact that he always had Larry Bird, Karl Malone, and Charles Barkley in front of him. But don't let that fool you. Dominique was a great player, a great offensive player. He never made All-Defense, a 9-time All-Star. He has 1 scoring title and 10 straight seasons of 25 or more points per game. So obviously, no question, Dominique Wilkins, one of the great dunkers of all time, even to this day, no doubt. All right, the next player, Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas won 2 championships. 3 times he was first-team All-NBA, 2 second-team All-NBA. He never made an All-Defense. 12-time All-Star. He won a Finals MVP and an assist title. Isaiah Thomas, who's a top 75 player, no doubt. I think I have him right around the high 20s all-time, something like that. No question. Moses Malone. Moses Malone played 2 years in the ABA, and then he had a 19-year NBA career, played for 21 years. He came in right out of high school. He got 1 championship, that was in 83, 4-time first-team All-NBA, 4-time second-team All-NBA. He got 1 first-team All-Defense and 1 second-team All-Defense, a 13-time All-Star, which is actually more than anybody on this whole list. He won 3 MVPs, 1 Finals MVP, and 6 rebound titles. Moses Malone, no question, Hall of Famer. He's in my top 15. Kevin McHale. Kevin McHale played for 13 years, from 81 to 93. He won 3 championships. He was not the best player on the team, but he was certainly the second best. He was first-team All-NBA once. He was 3 times first-team All-Defense, 3 times second-team All-Defense, a 7-time All-Star, including twice. He was the 6th man of the year. No question, Kevin McHale. No doubt, Hall of Famer. Yes. Sidney Moncrief. Sidney Moncrief is a player that he got injured, or else he was top 75 territory, no doubt about it. A very good two-way player. He was well-rounded. He could shoot. He could drive. He could defend. I mean, he's one of the 5 best defensive guards who probably ever played. He's up there with like Alvin Robertson, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Gary Payton. He's in that class, no doubt. Sidney Moncrief only played basically 11 years, from 1980 to 91. Never won a championship. He was first-team All-NBA once, 4 times second-team All-NBA, but he was 4 times first-team All-Defense and 1 second-team All-Defense, a 5-time All-Star, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. And he had a few years in there, a few years when he was scoring 20 points a game. No question, Sidney Moncrief is a Hall of Famer. He would have been more if he would have stayed healthy. But by the time he was on like the Hawks and all that, he just wasn't the same player at all. But, he was a terrific player. I would have loved to have him on my team. Okay, Robert Parish. I skipped one. Robert Parish, he had a pretty long career, played from 77 to 97, 21-year career. He won 4 championships, although one of those he picked up as like the 12th man on the Bulls team in the, was like 96 or something. So, might have been 97 actually. He won 4 championships, but like I said, one was the Bulls. One time he was second team All-NBA, one time third team All-NBA. He never made All-Defense. He was a 9-time All-Star. Career, 14.5 points, 9.1 rebounds per game, and that includes his later years when he was on Charlotte, Chicago, all that. So when you average it all out, Robert Parish, solid player, 9-time All-Star. That's an automatic get you in. Alex English. Alex English played for 15 years, from 76 to 91. He never won a championship. 3-time second-team All-NBA, no All-Defenses. He's an 8-time All-Star. He has a scoring title, and he scored the most points in the decade of the 80s. So obviously, Alex English, he's got to be in there. You score the most points of an entire decade, you got to be a Hall of Famer. Okay. James Worthy. James Worthy played from 1983 to 94, 12 seasons. He won 3 championships, 2 third-team All-NBAs, never an All-Defense, 7-time All-Star. He was the 1988 Finals MVP. Career 21.1 points per game in the playoffs. James Worthy, Hall of Fame, no doubt. And again, this is NBA only. What he did in a college would have just enhanced his career, sure, but I'm not even talking about that. And Worthy is a top 75 player. All right, the next player is Dennis Johnson. Dennis Johnson played for, 15 years, from 76 to 1990. He won 3 championships on 2 different teams. He has 1 first-team All-NBA, 1 second-team All-NBA. 6 times he was first-team All-Defense, 3 times second-team All-Defense, 5-time All-Star, and the 1979 Finals MVP. No doubt about it, Dennis Johnson is a deserving Hall of Famer. Jack Sikma was also on Dennis Johnson's team. It's kind of like the co-best player. He played from 78 to 91, had a 14-year career. He won 1 championship. That would have been the 79 Seattle. He never made All-NBA, but he always had those centers in front of him, mostly, Kareem and Moses Malone. Those 2 guys right there are going to knock out any center from thinking about All-NBA for a very, very long time. And, then you got Robert Parish. You weren't making All-NBA if you were just a very good center. You had to be elite. And even then, it was tough. So, Sikma did make 1 second-team All-Defense. He was a 7-time All-Star. He has a free throw title, which is incredible for a center. His career is 15.6 points per game and 9.8 rebounds. Jack Sikma, it doesn't have a super strong case, but it is strong enough. I think Jack Sikma deserves it. He's in the Hall of Fame. He deserves that. Walter Davis. Walter Davis played for 15 years, 1978 to 92. He never won a championship, 2-time second-team All-NBA, never made All-Defense. He's a 6-time All-Star. He won Rookie of the Year, and he's a career 19-point-per-game scorer. Now, for me, he's a good player, no doubt. Very good player. Do I think he's Hall of Fame material? He's kind of borderline, but I think that when you look at his numbers, he was no worse than like an Adrian Dantley or Alex English or any of those guys. So I probably would say Walter Davis is in. And some of these guys are questionable, no doubt. Like if somebody said, I don't know, Walter Davis in the Hall of Fame, he probably shouldn't be. No problem. I won't argue with you. All right, Bobby Jones. Bobby Jones. This guy never gets talked about enough. Played for 12 years from 75 to 86. He had the 2 years in the ABA. He won the one championship in 83, one second team All-NBA, but this is the one that gets me. 10-time first team All-Defense. 8 all in the NBA and 2 in the ABA. 10 times. More than anyone else if you combine the ABA and NBA. First team. He also has one second team, a 5-time All-Star. He was the 1983 Sixth Man of the Year. And like I said, with all those All-Defenses, I mean, this guy, you know, him and, I know Tim Duncan, they call him a power forward, but he was like a power forward / center. But I would say perhaps Bobby Jones is the best defensive power forward of all time. Him or Kevin McHale. Like I said, Duncan is more of a combo position player, not really a solid power forward. There's no doubt Bobby Jones deserves Hall of Fame. He wasn't exactly a scrub on offense either. You know, he'd get you 12 to 15 points. Good player. Great player. He's the type of guy who's that missing piece to win a championship. Maurice Cheeks played for 15 years from 79 to 93, won one championship, was never All-NBA. He was 4-time first-team All-NBA, one second team, 4-time All-Star. I know he's got a lot of steals. I think he's the all-time leader for the 76ers in steals. 5 times he was in the top 8 for Defensive Player of the Year, and he had pretty good offensive numbers. He was, you know, he would score some points. He was pretty good. But something tells me that Maurice Cheeks is maybe not a Hall of Famer. I think he's a very good player, but I'm saying no for Maurice Cheeks. I know, that's like blasphemy, and I'm sure I'll get some pushback for it, but Maurice Cheeks was a really nice player. But if I compared him to like a Sidney Moncrief, Moncrief is the better player. There's no doubt about it. And I think there was a couple times he got all defense by reputation. Like 1987, Michael Jordan should have got that first team all defense, not Maurice Cheeks. Maurice Cheeks never should have got that. Jordan was better in every metric you could think of, and the eye test. And I just think that that's one there that it kind of always bugged me. 4-time All-Star is a little low unless you got some real credentials behind it. And for me, Maurice Cheeks is close. And based on the players they've let in today, yeah, he probably should be in. But based on what I think he's just outside Hall of Fame material. Jamal Wilkes, he played for 12 seasons. Won 4 championships, 3 with the Lakers and 1 with Golden State as the second best player. He was never All-NBA. He was 2-time second-team All-Defense, a 3-time All-Star. He did win Rookie of the Year, and he's a career 17.7 points per game. That's another guy who's about on the same level as a Maurice Cheeks. Very nice player. He had a good career, but he falls just short for me for Hall of Fame. He's close, but he's just not for me. Adrian Dantley played for 15 years. Never won a championship. 2-time second-team All-NBA. He was on that 88 Detroit. They were 1 game away. It was close. He's a 6-time All-Star. He also won Rookie of the Year, 2 scoring titles. Adrian Dantley should be in the Hall of Fame. I think he's in. All right, Bernard King. Bernard King played for 14 years. Never won a title. 2 first-team All-NBA, 1 second, and 1 third. 4 total. No All-Defenses, 4-time All-Star, 1985 scoring title, career 22.5 points per game. To me, that's just too good to ignore. Bernard King, he was injured and stuff, and you know, but how do you treat injuries? You have to treat what they did on the court, not what you thought they would do. So Bernard King is in. This guy's very interesting. Marquez Johnson. Marquez Johnson played for only 11 years, never won a championship, 1 first-team All-NBA, 2 second, no All-Defenses, a 5-time All-Star. He's a career 20.1 point per game scorer with 7 rebounds. But Marquez Johnson falls just short, like all these players, only because his tenure was a little bit low, and at the end of his career, because of injury, his numbers just weren't as good. But he had like 5 or 6 dynamite seasons. Marquez Johnson is not in the Hall of Fame. now, and I wouldn't put him in either, but he's so close. I mean, he's just one of those guys that, you almost want to put him in, but you just can't. Here's another guy. Alvin Robertson played from 85 to 96. That's 12 seasons. He never won a championship. He made All-NBA once as second team, 2-time first team All-Defense, 4-time second team All-Defense, a 4-time All-Star. He won a Defensive Player of the Year, and he's the all-time leader in steals per game. And his offensive numbers were solid. They weren't like great, but they were solid. I mean, how is Maurice Cheeks in the Hall of Fame, but not Alvin Robertson? You see what I'm saying? Like, to me, they're so close. I don't even know how you could do one without the other. I'm not going to put Robertson in only because I didn't put Cheeks in, but he's right there. And like I said, because players like Maurice Cheeks and Michael Cooper are in, you got to put Alvin Robertson in then. What about Bruce Bowen? You know what I'm saying? Like these type of elite defenders, now Robertson doesn't have the rings, but he was, the top or second best player on a lot of the teams he played on. Michael Cooper was coming off the bench. All right. Next player, Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson played for 13 years, 1980 to 1991. Then he played in 96 for about half a year. 13 seasons. He won 5 championships, 9-time first team All-NBA, 1-time second team All-NBA. Never made All-Defense, but he does have 2 steals leaders. He's a 12-time All-Star. He has 4 assist titles, 2 steals titles, 1 free throw title, 3 MVPs and 3 finals MVPs. No brainer, Magic Johnson, obviously. He's in my top 3. I think he's number 3 all time, so definitely. All right. Next player is Tom Chambers. Tom Chambers is much better than what the average person thinks. He played for 14 years, never won a championship. He has 1 second team All-NBA. Never made All-Defense. A 4-time All-Star. 1987 All-Star MVP. A career 18.1 career points per game. Now again, players like Tom Chambers, Marcus Johnson, Maurice Cheeks, Jamal Wilkes, these guys, they're just so, Alvin Robertson, they're so close, and I don't think they're Hall of Famers. But based on who they've let in now, then these guys come into play now. Now you got to take a closer look at them. That's why if a player is borderline, you just got to say no. You have to be definitive. You hear the name, your first instinct, if you go, well, I don't know, then he's not. It has to be, oh yeah, Hall of Fame. That has to be your initial reaction. Mark Eaton. Now, Mark Eaton, offensively, didn't have a lot to offer. However, he played for 11 years from 83 to 93. No championships, never made All-NBA. 3-time first team All-Defense, 2-time second team All-Defense. He made 1 All-Star team, 4 block leader, 4-time led the league in blocks per game, 2 Defensive Players of the Year, and he's the all-time leader in blocks per game. And I'm not putting him in either, but again, I mean, if you're letting in Michael Cooper, who won 1 Defensive Player of the Year, he was on championship teams, sure, but we know that it was Magic and Kareem were the driving forces of those championships. James Worthy later, when they did like the repeat and all that. Kareem at that point was just kind of like the 4th option. Even Byron Scott played a better role than Kareem did later on. But players like Mark Eaton, players like Alvin Robertson, these guys were, very, very high-level defensive players. All-time leader in steals per game, all-time leader in blocks per game. You don't think those guys should have as much, if not more of a case than Michael Cooper? It's just stupid. What about Robert Horry? He's got all those rings. He played a role. I mean, where does it end? When does it start getting too ridiculous? All right, Larry Nance. Now, Larry Nance was a good player. We don't hear his name enough. He played 13 seasons. He didn't win a championship. He never made All-NBA. He was 1-time first-team All-Defense, 2-time second-team All-Defense, a 3-time All-Star, career 17.1 points and 8 rebounds. He was a very good two-way player. Larry Nance was very good, but he's still not a Hall of Famer, even though I think a lot of Larry Nance. I really do. You know, and even like a player like Brad Daugherty. He was like a 4-time All-Star. He's not even on the list. All right, Mark Aguirre. Mark Aguirre won, he played 13 seasons from 82 to 94. He won 2 championships. He never made All-NBA. He never made All-Defense. He's a 3-time All-Star. Career, 20 points per game. 3 times in the top 15 for MVP. He does have a mild case for Hall of Fame, but he's not. He's not. He's not a Hall of Famer. But again, you let some of these other guys in, you got to take a look at him now. Bill Laimbeer, compelling case too. He played 14 years, won 2 championships, never made All-NBA or All-Defense, but he was a 4-time All-Star, the 1986 rebound per game champion, and he's a career 83.7% from the free throw line for a center, which is just outstanding. A good shooter. He could score it. He was, a very physical defender. But even with all that said, no, Laimbeer is not a Hall of Famer. He's just not. Okay, that leaves 3 players left on the list. Buck Williams, who I think does have a case based on the guys that are in there now. Buck Williams played for 17 years from 82 to 98. He never won a championship. 1-time second-team All-NBA, 2-time first-team All-Defense, 2-time second-team All-Defense, a 3-time All-Star. He won Rookie of the Year, twice was top 10 for MVP. He had his first 7 years of his career, 15-plus points per game and 12-plus rebounds per game. Career, 10 rebounds per game. Buck Williams has a very compelling case. Very good two-way player. But again, no. But he does have a case, especially based on other people. Michael Cooper was better than Buck Williams? I don't think so. He just wasn't. All right. We got Terry Cummings. Terry Cummings played for 18 years. And here's another guy that got hurt after his, maybe halfway through about 10 years into his career, he got hurt. Changed everything. He was on track for Hall of Fame, no doubt. Well, he made All-NBA twice, 1 second team, 1 third team, never made All-Defense, a 2-time All-Star. He won Rookie of the Year. His first 7 years, 20-plus points per game. His first 10 years, 17.3 points per game or more. He has 1 top 5 in the MVP. 4 times he was in the top 17 for MVP. He has a case, but he's not. But again, Michael Cooper never made a top 5 for MVP. I don't think so. Maurice Lucas. Here's a guy. He played 14 years from 75 to 88. Another guy who suffered injuries. He won 1 championship, part of that 77 Trailblazers, and he was the second best player, no doubt about it. 1 time made second team All-NBA. He has a first team All-Defense, a second team All-Defense, a 5-time All-Star, 3 times in the top 14 for MVP. For his career, 14.6 points and 9.1 rebounds. Another guy that has a nice case for Hall of Fame, should get consideration, but he's just not. Was Manu Ginobili a better NBA player than Maurice Lucas? No way. No way. But that's who's in. So the bottom line is, and I chose 28 players because I just wanted to show how many guys had a pretty good, borderline case. But at the end of the day, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 players. 16 players from the 1980s. That's what we got. So anyway, that wraps up the 1980s. Part 5 will be tomorrow night. 1990s. Should be interesting. So anyway, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. This is going to be a 7-part series. Just showing who should and should not be in the Hall of Fame. Again, I'm not the authority on it. I have criterias. It's very subjective. Anybody who you think should or should not be out, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Again, this stuff is all opinion-based. It's no problem. So anyway, thanks for watching, and that's it for now.